Ladies and gentlemen, I have something prepared here, obviously, but I will deviate a bit from the things that were just said. For example, about data. There was a saying maybe 2 decades ago already that data is the new oil. I would change this nowadays, obviously, a little bit. The data is the new soil, and we need to really build on this and grow things on this. So I think this was maybe a better introduction than the one I have planned. And then also the word said by the secretary and the deputy secretary here on ecosystems and their importance. I used to be a biologist before I became more into university management and international partnerships, but this topic, biodiversity, is still very, very close to my heart. And maybe I ask a quick question. Maybe somebody of you can estimate. What do you think how many species we lose on a daily basis on this planet? Any idea? Any number? Who wants to try? I have no prize, so maybe the motivation is not there, but it's 150 species a day, more or less. So you can count how many species we lost during this session already, and most of those species we have never known, because we do not know the systems we all depend on, and this is costly. There were examples from India shown here. I can tell you one number from Germany. The Federal Environment Agency made an estimation, like all the accumulated environmental costs who will come up on society. Maybe not immediately, but they will come. There are now in Germany approximately 250 billion euros annually. If you would build this into the calculation of GDP, which is not the case, but if you would do that, we would have a negative growth of 6% every year. So we should rethink how to measure also economic growth. So it's obviously a great honor for me to join you today at this summit, and on behalf of Dresden University of Technology and also the Global Water and Climate Adaptation Center, or short ABCD Center, and this is for the cities, the starting letters of the cities of universities who are partners in this effort, which is Aachen for the RWTH Aachen University in Germany as well, B for Bangkok in Chennai with the Asian Institute of Technology, C for Chennai in India, IIT Madras, I see one colleague right there, and Dresden obviously with TUD, but also with an institute of the United Nations University, Flores, which is also a partner in this endeavor. And I want to start my remaining words with first thanking IIT Roorkee and especially ICARS with Professor Gupta and his team and all the organizers of this summit and all partner institutions for the invitation. TU Dresden, for being recognized in this setting, is both a privilege and a strong signal of the growing depth of Indo-German cooperation. It's especially meaningful in the light also of the recent visit of our German Chancellor to India, which once again underlined the strategic importance of this relationship. As mentioned several times before, climate change is no longer a distant environmental concern. It is already reshaping the systems on which our societies depend, and it's nowhere more visible than in water. We see it also in Germany, in floods and droughts, groundwater stress, contamination, pressure on infrastructure, rising competition over scarce resources. Water is where climate risk becomes immediate, practical, and also political. This is why resilience must become more than a reactive concept. It must become a design principle. If we are serious about this, then we must build it into the way we plan, the way we govern, we finance, and the way we educate, also in higher education institutions. We need systems that are able to cope first with immediate shocks, obviously, but also we need to strengthen existing infrastructure and practices step by step to improve them, and where necessary, we need the courage to transform models, governance models, business as usual models, to change them altogether. But these 3 dimensions belong together. We need coping capacity to respond to immediate disruptions. We need incremental adaptation to upgrade infrastructure, improve planning, and strengthen existing systems. And we urgently need transformational adaptation, where institutions, mandates, decision-making structures are redesigned to reflect the realities we already see in a changing climate. Real resilience emerges only when these 3 levels reinforce one another. This also means, also mentioned before, breaking of silos. Water, for example, cannot be considered separately from food, energy, biodiversity, and so on. And climate adaptation requires integrated thinking because the risks themselves are interconnected. And the same applies also, because it's very, very important nowadays, to digital transformation as well. Data systems, satellite monitoring, predictive tools, and AI can significantly improve resilience, but only if they are linked to effective institutions, inclusive governance, and practical implementation. This is where, in my opinion, higher education institutions have a special responsibility. Universities are not only places where knowledge is generated, they are places where knowledge can be translated into policy, where future decision makers are trained, and where science, government, and society can be brought into meaningful dialogue. At TUD, we expressed this through our fairly renewed claim or motto, TUD, the collaborative university. We are inventive, transformative, and engaged. And for me, this fits quite well also to the RESSummit here. Inventive, because resilience requires innovation in engineering, governance, and cooperation. Transformative, because incremental repair alone will not always be enough. Engaged, because universities must be active partners in society and not distant observers. This spirit is also reflected in the work of the ABCD Center. This center has become, in the last 5 years, a groundbreaking platform for international cooperation in water security and climate adaptation, and especially also for Indo-German cooperation. And what makes it so valuable, it's the connection of research, education, and practice. It creates joint structures, joint learning, and shared problem solving across institutions, and even more important, across borders. That today matters because climate resilience cannot be built by isolated actors. It requires long-term partnerships and trust-based cooperation. And let me come to the end, almost, with one example from this center. It's an important example because it's the first real Indo-German joint master program on water security and global change. This initiative shows how cooperation can directly shape capacity building and places students at the interface already during their studies in science, policy, and implementation, exactly where resilient futures will be decided. And I'm happy to announce that now 2 weeks ago, although this program is only came into place in 2024, we have already been recognized and be awarded by the IAHR UNESCO label for water training and education, recognizing the excellence for future professionals in the water sector. And let me also stress the role of the United Nations. We also had colleagues here from respective institutions, also the United Nations University, where one institute is also co-organizing the summit. United Nations University brings an essential multilateral perspective. And the joint UNU Hub on Climate Resilience and Sustainable Technologies, or short CREST, established by TU Dresden and UNU with the Institute Flores, is an important step forward because it creates another platform on which climate resilience and sustainable technologies can be approached through engineering, obviously, but also through environmental science, socioeconomic analysis together. So my closing message for the coming days are simple. Let us understand resilience not as an emergency management alone, but as a framework for long-term design. Let us move from fragmented reactions to integrated adaptation, and let us embed climate resilience into environmental governance, into institutions and into education. TU Dresden is really honored to contribute to this shared effort, and we look forward to deepening the cooperation in the years ahead. And with that, I thank you very much.